Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Western Spirit. Today, we have a very special guest and someone who I have to say we didn't speak before. Now we were chatting before the show, but I was going to say something that I didn't say is that I grew up in New York and I grew up watching you a little bit over the years
Wow.
before I came to Israel. So before I came to the army here and everything, you would be a lot of times on Fox and other places. So I would see you. So today we have with us Brigitte Gabriel. Brigitte is a national security analyst, New York Times bestselling author, and chairman of Act for America. And her latest best-selling book is called Rise. I hope I got that all right. And Brigitte has an amazing story also about growing up in Lebanon during the Civil War. And I remember reading her story and being like, oh my God, it's an amazing story of just heroism and like Brigitte told me, fighting for Western civilization in general, and her life story is something that we should all learn from. So, Brigitte, is such an honor to speak with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me with you. I'm honored to be with you. And by the way, the subtitle of my book, Rise, is Rise in Defense of Judeo Christian Values and Freedom.
Exactly.
Because even when I wrote the book, I can see the rise of anti Semitism, the rise against what we stand for as a Judeo Christian culture. You know, Western civilization was founded on Judeo Christian values and freedom. And those same values right now are under attack. And that's why we all need to come together, work together, people who come from the Judeo Christian background to stand up in defense of our freedom.
Exactly. And so, talking about that, you got right into my first question. October 7th happened, and the next day, I was here in Israel, and my some of my family is still in America. The next day in New York City, in Times Square, there was a huge pro-Hamas protest. Like even before the Israelis here, we still had terrorists inside Israel at that point. We did not attack Gaza yet. There was no bombings yet. There was nothing. There was just terrorists killing people in Israel. And at that they felt emboldened to go out and protest for what happened basically. Can you maybe give us like how you this is something that you speak about for years. Give us a little bit about how you saw things unfolding, and were you surprised? Were you not surprised? How did you see the things happening?
Well, when I wrote my first book titled Because They Hate, A Survivor of Islamic Terror Warns America, which is my biography about me growing up in Lebanon, being raised in Lebanon, going to Israel, living in Israel, working in Israel, and then later coming to the United States, and how I saw the erosion of my country of birth. And in that book, I talk about the fifth column on our universities. Remember, the book was written in 2005, 2006. And I talk about the brainwashing on American college campuses and how the Arabs, because of their oil money, have used their oil money to fund a Middle East study department, a political science department, appointing Arab professors who are anti-Israel, anti-America, to teach our children that Israel is evil and America is oppressive, colonizers, and then, you know, we are the problem in the world. And I talk about at that time, I was telling people, what do you expect today when we see this hatred coming out of our universities? For the last 20 years, we have been feeding our children a steady diet of hate and resentment against Israel, against the United States. And now we are seeing the result. And as you know, in business, we say an overnight success takes 20 years. You know, all of a sudden people look at your company and say, oh my gosh, they're so successful. They're everywhere. They're branches. How did they do it overnight? There is no such thing as overnight success in business. It takes a long time of sweat, equity, and the building blocks to finally get to the success where other people recognize your success. Where we are in America today is we are seeing the results of decades of brainwashing at our higher educational institution, brainwashing our children to the point where now the hatred of Israel has become mainstream in the United States, at least on our college campuses, and at least amongst the youth who are addicted to TikTok, who are addicted to social media, where they are not seeing the truth. And that's the concern. And when I used to speak about this, by the way, I used to be attacked by by organizations all across America, especially Jewish progressive organizations who say, oh my gosh, you are exaggerating. There is no way this could be happening in America. Absolutely not. Well, finally today, after October 7th, you saw the result of what happens when you ignore a problem and you reflect your values on people who don't share your values.
Yes.
So just because we want peace, we want love, we want prosperity, we believe that, everybody wants to prosper, everybody wants to rise, everybody wants to live, everybody wants to build in peace. We are reflecting our values on people who hate so much that they would much rather destroy themselves, their country, their homes, their territory, their life in order to take revenge against their enemy. And that's what we saw immediately in New York after
And all
October
over
7th.
America. Yeah.
Right.
And Brigitte, one thing that I do think that is important to say is that a lot of the progressive left, the woke sort of people, is that they also hate themselves, America. So, and the West in general. So because they do so, they feel a sort of, it seems to me, a kinship with people who also hate. So there's like a convergence of people who all hate the West coming together. And Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who was on a program, said a few months back when she was on, is that the Islamists have a plan. They know what will happen when they tear down the West. The woke people have no idea what's going to happen, and they'll be eaten alive, right?
Right, exactly. And this reminds me also, I'll give you a perfect parallel. When Yasser Arafat signed the Oslo Accord with Israel, Yasser Arafat, in Arabic, when he would give media interviews to the Arabic world, he would be talking about Al-Hudaybiyah when they would ask him, how could you sign a peace treaty with Israel? And he would say to them, remember Al-Hudaybiyah. Now, in Israel, while the Shalom Achshav and everybody was celebrating, oh my gosh, we have peace with the Palestinians. We're going to live side by side. Peace finally has come to the Middle East. If you would have stopped people who were in the Shalom Achshav movement or anybody demonstrating in Israel, and even today in Israel, stop people and tell them, can you tell me what Al-Hudaybiyah is? They have no idea what Al-Hudaybiyah is. Al-Hudaybiyah refers to a hudna that Prophet Muhammad signed with the Saudis, with the people of Mecca who were attacking his caravans, stealing. He signed a 10-year treaty with them that said, we will not attack you, we will live side by side, no attacks, no whatever. He used the treaty for 2 years to train and build his military to be strong enough. And when the Meccans were least expecting it, he rose against the Meccan, attacked Mecca, and Mecca fell within 24 hours. And in the law under Islam, it became known as the Treaty of Al-Hudaybiyah. So when Yasser Arafat signed his peace, the Oslo Accord with Israel, he was telling the Arabic world in Arabic, remember Al-Hudaybiyah. They knew exactly what he was talking about. The Jews did not know what he was talking about. And so today, what we are seeing in the West is we are seeing a generation that does not understand our enemy. They do not understand their own history.